Well, good evening. It is time for Pledge Watch, where we put your leaders to task. That's always a mantra. And this evening, guess who we have on the board? For the very first time, we're not having Mheshimiwa, we are having a different figure. And yes, of course, or so to speak, a future Mheshimiwa. He'll be telling us his political moves, whether any at all. But we have a student leader on board joining us this evening to expound some more on university leadership. For the longest of time, the university leadership has been, pointed fingers at as to how much they're doing towards ensuring that they bring back the sanity, if at all there was any, of universities back then. So today we ask this candid question: universities then and now, any progress? If not, why? If there is, then what is this progress that we're talking about? Guess who's joining me? Anthony Manyara, KUSO president, or he will tell us whether he is or not, because again, there's a lot of conversation that is going on in regards to the same. And some university students will tell you probably they feel like, they've been robbed of what is rightfully theirs. But then again, Anthony is right here to ensure that, he tells us what way forward for the universities. He's a household name. I'm sure you probably have seen him, if at all. You passed through universities at some years, and up until now, actually, they get to know him. So, good evening.
Good evening.
I'm almost tempted to call you Mheshimiwa. Yeah. So if I do, please accept that, because then again, yes, the university leadership is what determines the leadership of the country. So far.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Alela. My name is Anthony Manyara. I'm the chairman, Kenya University Students Organization. That's, of course, the umbrella body of all universities in Kenya. Yeah. We have 74 universities. We have more than 250 TVET institutions, and also colleges, polytechnics, all those kind of course, institutions. Mimi ndio chairman.
Let's make this clear. Chairman na president. What words? The same ni nini?
Yeah, you see now, of course, when you have officials in KUSO, you are their chairman. Right. But now you see in most cases they call me president. Right. Because I've been also president University of Nairobi in the year 2018, 2019. Right. I was elected now to represent all the universities. Yeah. That's where now the title of the president
came from. Until you watch, so much has been happening, in our university setups. Some of the things that people will probably say they're not proud of, looking at, the activities. What do you say about this?
Well, first of all, let me just fill you in. I'm also the president of Youth Advocacy Africa. That means it's not only students that I represent here today. I also represent youths. I represent youths across the country, and we are doing a lot of advocacy programs. Of course, we will discuss that much later. But what I can say is that institutions, they are closed. Most of them are closed because of COVID-19. Very many operations have been affected. But we are really trying as much as possible to ensure that our institutions still run, whether there is physical presence or not.
Right. What would you say about the Kenya University Students Organization so far?
Well, I can say that when I was elected as the chairman, I met that KUSO. There was no operation office. There were no officials. There was no criterion majorly of representing students across the country. Now, I ensured that we have a diversity when it comes to ethnic balance, ensuring that there is gender equality and everything. I formed an organization which is very strong in representing regions from across the country, and also we ensure that we changed the kind of politics that is associated with the students, which before there was a lot of riots, there's a lot of strikes, unnecessary strikes. I ensure that all that we have brought some sort of a peaceful way of doing things, truce, to ensure that at least tunaweza kaa chini tunakubaliana, this is the right thing, this is the wrong thing.
So to speak, there's still issues the students face. There's still issues that would get students wanting to go out there and demonstrate, but they do not do that. They solve this amicably. Well, are you certain about this?
Yes. All right. After nilichukua kiti, that is when now there came peace. Way before there was a lot of chaos, there was a lot of riots, all those kind of things. But immediately I took over, I realized that there's a way that we can be able to be solving issues amicably without necessarily throwing stones, striking all through, disrupting lessons or other learning in our universities. Now, after we came in, also we proposed through the CES back then, Amina Mohammed, we came up with the Office of the Career Services, That office is entirely mandated to ensure that students can be able to be guided in terms of career and so forth.
Okay.
So there is a lot of things generally we have done as KUSO, as Kenya University Student Organization, to ensure at least our students can have some sort of landing, even if it's not soft, at least tumewasaidia to have a transition between the university and the career world.
Would we say then that, would I be right to say that you're faulting the previous leadership?
Yeah. Yes, of course. I came there to improve. You know, if the leadership is very effective, why do we change governors? Why do we change senators?
Oh, yeah.
At the end of the day, we can still have them continuing their terms.
They're doing a good job.
Yeah.
All right. Is KUSO registered an organization?
Yes, it is registered. It's an organization. It's registered as an NGO.
Okay.
We're trying to register it as an association, but it couldn't be possible because of the word Kenya. But now we ensure that at least it is registered for our normal, processes and yeah.
When you say we, what do you really mean? The students, individuals, or who exactly? I'm asking this on behalf of the students who have no idea what really happens. Yes.
Kenya University Student Organization, it's a registered body which has, up to now we have around 61 officials drawn from all the universities, drawn from TVET institutions. It is well representative. Yeah. When I talk of we now, it's me with my officials.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
We came up with a constitution, which of course is agreed upon. There's a way the structures we have made. There is the executive, there is the devolved government.
Okay.
All those kind of, levels. I'm the chairman. Then we have these other heads of counties, regions. Yeah.
What are the term limits of the leaders that get into?
Yes, the term limit is 1 year. Apparently, I'm always elected in.
Oh, yeah?
I've been elected in 2018, 2019, and this year.
All right.
Yeah.
That's where we're coming. As it stands, you are the chair.
Yes.
Nimo Sheikh
is
also the chair, as far as I'm concerned. Loop us into this. Make us understand what the difference comes in. Because I remember there's a time that Nimo was deputizing you.
Yes.
And Nimo was elected in, as far as I'm concerned, from what is in the public domain. Then why is it that in 2019 again you are the chair, in 2020 you are the chair?
Well, I can say this. There's a way we amended the constitution.
Okay.
In 2018, I formed the systems, the architecture of the whole KUSO government.
Okay.
That is when, of course, I look for her. She is very vibrant. I made her my vice chair. That is how we ran for campaigns. We got elected into office. We ran for 1 year. The second year, I was, of course, my term had
elapsed. Yes.
Yes. So I talked to her because that time I think I was doing my exams and also in campaigns in the University of Nairobi as the chairman there. Then we did some sort of agreement which she would be in charge of the body because I couldn't do everything all at once because I also had some school commitments. Now for the last 1 year, as you have seen, KUSO has been very inactive. So this year, that is when now we agreed upon with the students again. These elections we are having, we need to revive the spirit that was once there.
So in this case, you're saying you were elected in 2019?
Yeah.
And then you decided that you're going to...
2019, we supported her actually to take over.
So she took over?
Yes.
So when you're talking about this year's elections, you're talking about virtual elections that were conducted in July? Or?
Yes.
So you have been elected again?
Yes.
Why is this not so out there on the public domain? I remember the campaigns were there, and even the last session that was out there in the public domain was that we are going to conduct this virtually, and we're going to ensure that it's going to be a free and fair process. And when it came to, should have been 9th of July?
No, 7th.
7th of July?
Yes. So it's
really
Sabasaba.
Not so much information. It's always Sabasaba,
yeah?
Not so much information is in the public domain as to whether the elections were conducted. And most of these students are at home, so they're going to get a surprise out of this. Do you suppose it was indeed a fair process?
Well, I can say very clearly that the process was very free and fair. We did it in two phases.
Okay.
Apparently, there is a phase which we have not even completed because that one is a bit somehow, delicate. But the two phases we conducted were very free and fair. The students voted. In fact, I've never seen that kind of turnout. That is why actually even we were thinking, even when it comes to the BBI, if still COVID-19 will still be an issue, I am confident people still can vote online.
Yeah.
Well, the reason as to why I'm saying that is because you could see even for one position, we could have a turnout of more than 10,000 students.
Okay.
If you compare with what we have seen in the past, you could see students, the ones who are coming out to vote physically, they are very few as compared to what we had.
So this election process, for the sake of the viewer, would involve students across board.
Yeah, sure.
All students are called upon
From all corners.
All right.
Yeah, the country, yes.
Okay, so are there any campaign processes that are conducted?
Yeah, you campaign online. In fact, COVID-19 has come to bring us an option of doing things technology-wise.
All right.
You can campaign online. You can conduct. You can share your posters. You can do anything online. Okay. So that is how we did. We were of course we ensured that there is like 5 candidates in one position. They contest. They campaign. Until the elections time comes, and then they got.
How many candidates were there this time round?
Well, I can say, for instance, the position of devolution, because there was the secretary devolution, you could see like there was 11 candidates for that particular one. I think I will provide you with the documents that the elections we did.
Yeah.
You could see one position has got more than 10 contestants.
What was the chair position?
Yeah.
What of you? There was no one who was contesting against you.
I was unopposed.
Unopposed, really?
Yes.
Okay, let's talk about this. Who's deputizing you?
She's called Maya Abdi.
Maya Abdi.
Yeah, she's a student at KU doing education.
What informed the picking of Maya Abdi?
Well, first of all, I can say she's a focused person.
Right.
She's a team leader. Is someone who I can say that she has got the leadership skills, and she can be able to serve well. She has served as a student leader in KU, so we have the confidence in her. Yeah.
Well, if we were to call Nimo right now, would she agree to the fact that yes, she's no longer the chair? Is this information
so.
well?
Yeah, I should agree so, because when you're in power in KUSO, just like in Kenya, the way we say in Constitution, if you're supposed to be in power for like 5 years, if you go another 6th year, you see now that one is not enshrined in the Constitution.
Yeah.
So I would say that currently, as per myself right now, she's not the KUSO official.
So what is the involvement from that time of election and declaration that this is the president or this is the chair? What processes are there?
Okay, we have under challenge. I've been planning for instance, we have our KUSO lawyer who has been preparing to do a swearing in of officials, but we have continued postponing it. I think we'll do it in September. We'll have the new officials, of course, sworn in, and then we of course we cannot amend the Constitution to extend that term from July to September, effective from when they will have been sworn in. But what I can just say is that we are prepared. The procedures are still the same. The only problem we have been facing, of course, is meetings. You cannot meet physically. You cannot meet a group of more than 20
So would it be
people.
wrong? Would it be wrong to say that she still holds the position until you're sworn in?
No, you cannot say that.
You cannot say that.
Yeah.
She steps out.
All the officials
take up office immediately.
They take up office immediately.
Even before being sworn in?
Yes.
Is that not rendering the swearing in process?
That is how the KUSO Constitution is.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so okay. Now, are you a student still?
Yes, I am a student.
Of?
I am an architectural student at the University of Nairobi.
All right.
Of course, very many people ask,
why are you still? Yes, because the question is, why are you still the KUSO leader if you're not a student? Same applies to Nimo Sheikh. Like, you're not a student and you're still the KUSO leader. Why?
Well, what I can just say is that I'm a student. I'm still a student at the University of Nairobi.
Okay.
The only problem is that many Kenyans don't understand that in the university, there are courses which take longer than 4 years.
I agree.
Last year, I graduated. I think that is what now causes the confusion.
Yeah.
I graduated with a Bachelor of Architectural Studies after 4 years. Now, architecture is a two-tier degree, or rather course. It takes 4 years, you graduate, then you take another 2, you graduate. The course is not complete if you don't end up graduating at the 6th year level.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm in 5th year. I like keeping my school issues, out of the public scene. I do my studies. Architecture is more of a practical course. You need to do a lot of drawing. I do that at night. During the day, I do politics. Anyway, it's all about how someone really plans his
You have said that in 2019, so much, you were consumed into the books and to the, school.
It was my final year.
Yes, that it got you a little bit distracted from the office. What gives you the guarantee that this time around, you will be there to deliver?
What I'm very sure is that I will deliver because, first of all, I have a work plan, a very serious work plan. There are very many things that I want to streamline. For instance, HELB. I am the one who went to the BBI task force to propose some amendments, to propose some issues to do with, first of all, HELB. We want HELB to be a grant. And those people who have been, of course, granted HELB way before, even you were a student sometimes back, and probably you have ever applied for HELB. We don't want you to continue being deducted that money from your salary. We want that money scrapped completely because this is a grant. We normally get a lot of donors from our external friends. We normally get donors from various banks. All that money should be supporting students, and that support should know that you're paying back for it. It should be a grant which is non-conditional. And then
how
again,
sustainable is this to ensure the rest of the other students that come after us or come after, the lot that is there are equally going to get the same? Because we are running from this angle where we say, enough is enough with Africa, depending on donors, depending on the hand of the West, depending on aid, and we come to that point where we're going to facilitate our own. And you look at some of the universities across the board, this is technically what happens. They take student loans, they pay the loans, the very same loans are the ones that sustain the next students that come. So if we are going to take that direction, how sustainable will that be? Well,
I can, first of all, tie your question with the fact that in Kenya, we are overpopulated. It's not only Kenya, very many African countries, we are overpopulated. Overpopulation brings forth, strain on resources. Strain on resources, that means there's not enough money to cater for the needs of everyone. Now, every year, very many students graduate. Take, for instance, the University of Nairobi. There are more than 10,000 students who graduate at each graduation, right? Now, the Ministry of Education and also those institutions, they don't care where you go after you graduate. That's true. Now, that means now all those students, when they get out there, they are at limbo. They don't know where they will land. You can tarmac for like 10 years, you can tarmac for like 5 years with no job. That now creates unemployment caused by overpopulation. There are very many uneducated people out there, but they have no jobs, they have no way of, of assisting themselves. Now, if you now look at all that, I can tell you there is a very big problem we have in this society.
All right, okay. Let's go back to Nimo again. And you say she wasn't elected in? She was elected in?
Last year.
She was elected in. She was deputizing you at some point in time under your very own office, which you claim, so much happened in terms of change. Why do you suppose she was not able to actively, get the office running when she
I'm not the one who says whether someone has worked or.
But you say that the office was inactive for a while. Hence the reason why maybe
those are the grievances from students.
All right.
You took her as your vice chair.
You are a student also, so you should be able to say this is true or not.
Okay, if I'll be giving my personal comments, I'll be just conflicting, causing issues. But what I can say is that there have been grievances from students saying that whenever you were chairman, this is how we used to work. After you came with your vice chair, you came and endorsed her and took over. Then issues started becoming funny or so forth. So what I can say is that we came back to reclaim the glory, the lost glory. I cannot say it's because of Nimo. Maybe the officials frustrated her. It's all a matter of management. Just like the way we have this studio. If, for instance, some workers don't work, the person who will appear failing is the person on top. So I cannot say probably it's her fault.
All right.
Maybe ni wale wenye walifanya kazi na yeye.
Okay, nimeongea na watu kadhaa before we started this session. Some of them university leaders, some of them former university leaders. And they still maintain that KUSO is not registered. What is the missing gap in terms of information? First, to feed the students. First, to feed the student leaders, and to equally make them understand that indeed it is a registered body, because that is the conversation.
Now, the people who are saying KUSO is not registered, how sure are they?
So that's why I ask, what is the gap in communication? Why is this not clear?
I have the registration certificate.
Okay.
I just recently registered it, but you have not shared with
recently,
anyone.
like when?
In April
of this year.
Yes.
Okay. Has that information been circulated to the students, to the comrades?
There's no need.
It is necessary because it's a body that governs them.
Yes, that's true. But at the end of the day, it has been there. We have operated without registration for the longest time possible. Even the constitution, we have not shared it out there. University students, we normally say they are very wise. The moment that you start, circulating documents, serious documents like the constitution, they will start now doing a lot of amendments.
Is this information at their disposal, such that if there's a student who has interest of understanding?
Whoever really wants to know about registration, about the constitution, all those kind of things, we have our offices. They can always visit us. Chest House, first floor.
Okay.
Let them come to us. We'll furnish them with whatever they want. Yes.
Comrades are known to always want, things put there in broad daylight, transparency and all that. Don't you feel like that is a little bit more of personalizing the entire body, which would be unfortunate for the growth of, the comrades?
No, we cannot say it's personalizing because this is their office.
Okay.
Every information they require for, we provide. Even in our website. Actually, I was just trying to tell you that there is a contract we have given some students to do for us, maybe now a modern sort of a refurbished website. After we have done that, I think we'll attach those documents for them. But what I still can tell people out there is that KUSO is registered.
Right.
KUSO is an entity right now which has membership of more than 6.5 million students. You realize that even the students who have graduated Kitambo, there are some who are still pursuing masters, others pursuing a PhD. All those are students. So we can't say that wale wenye wako undergraduate peke yao ndio wanafunzi.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a very big, organization.
In your own capacity as a leader, don't you think that this is information that should be put out there to the public domain in the best interest of sanity, in the best interest of avoiding leadership wrangles, in the best interest of avoiding that scenario where comrades will have to be pushed to the streets again?
That's true. But it depends on what information we need to share.
All right.
Even Central Bank doesn't share its secrets.
Okay.
Yeah. So I can say in KUSO, of course, I cannot say how I manage my government. I cannot come out very transparent because you never know. There are people out there who are planning bad things. They are opposition figures.
Okay.
It's just like telling me now because I'm vying for Senate Ameru County, I'll give maybe my perceived opponents.
It has gone to the level of senator?
Yes.
That we'll discuss later. That will. Someone just told me it's MP, so okay, I think we need to clarify. Hold it right there. That is what we'll be talking about as we proceed. So, what is your take now that we have our universities off session?
First of all, I can say it's a very new experience to us as a country, not only our country, but also Africa and beyond. It has affected the operations, of course. The face-to-face experience has affected how we did things as human beings. As you can see today, I also carried my mask. That shows you we have changed our normal operations. Now, studying online has had very many challenges. Now those challenges, some of them, or rather I can just highlight some. Students do not have enough data bundles to access, internet to ensure at least they can be on course.
Yeah.
That is point number one. Number two, there are students who come from remote areas. They cannot access network coverage.
Yeah.
So those challenges, the Ministry of Education has been prioritizing on solutions without looking for the problem. The problem is that before you tell students to come online, you shouldn't facilitate them.
Yeah.
Now, access gadgets also is a major problem. We have had those problems ever since COVID-19 came. Now, you can see also Professor Magoa is saying that next year in January, that is when university students will resume schools.
Yeah.
But as KUSO, we tumekataa. It's just like the way actually we are the ones who told him it's not possible to do it in September, let us do it in January. The same way now we have refused, we have told him the universities are not still ready to provide intakes for students, or rather for schools to resume. Why? We want to know how safe are those institutions for students.
Okay.
Well, they can come there, and then if it's very unsafe, why should you be taking a student in good health and then he's brought to you back in a body bag? There's no need. We'd rather prioritize health over education. Yeah.
Speaking of which, then, as you're prioritizing health, key to note is that also students are back at home struggling to survive. They are now engaging in issues that are not so friendly, and also that poses their lives in danger. As KUSO, what is it that you're doing to ensure that you help the students out there to reach out and understand their situation? Some of them are actually undergoing psychological torture because, yes, like you said, it's a new thing and we all have different ways of dealing with the same. So what is being done towards cushioning, and also what is being done towards ensuring
that is why actually, as a brainchild of KUSO, that is why we started the Youth Advocacy Africa, because we are dealing with matters health.
Okay.
You realize that out of this COVID-19, there has been issues relating to mental health.
Yeah.
Very many issues.
Yes.
And those issues, there is stress, and then again you will see also students when they are at home there, they have no money. We have communicated. I actually on Friday I talked to CEO Ringera.
Okay.
We wanted help to be increased. Help to be increased for students to be dispersed to all students in Kenya soonest possible, because students are hard hit by COVID-19.
Yeah.
Some students are parents, some students are uncles, aunties, some students also they are the ones who are being dependent on by their families and extended families. So out of all those challenges, we are still proposing resumption of schools should be delayed, because at the end of the day, it can be risky for them. Now you have said of course when they are there at home, some of them can cause issues, can cause problems. What are we doing? Well, as Youth Advocacy Africa, there are a number of things we want to champion. We are doing it through very many forums, social media platforms, Facebook, WhatsApp. Remember, I told you online, those online platforms, they are very powerful. They are very powerful, more than even the physical experience. Because if you post something right now, someone who is in Turkana will see.
See that. Yeah.
Someone everywhere will see. So that is actually how we are mobilizing to talk about, health, on how also students can be able to assist other people within their communities. Of course, in regard to COVID-19 and so forth.
So you're comfortable that students remain at home until schools are able, at least to 101% aspect of health.
Yes, I would encourage them to still continue to attend online classes. I would encourage them to still do exams through online. All that we have opposed is online graduations. We don't want them to happen in September. We want them to happen from December going forward. Because there was not enough time. There should have been a window period, of course, to prepare. You can now see students are going to graduate at the same time which was planned, because COVID-19, when it came, you can now see exams were done normally. It took time for preparations and so forth.
All right. Okay, well, keep being part of this conversation. #PledgeWatch. It's now time that we take a short break where, of course, we'll tell you what to expect at the top of the hour, and we'll be right back. back to Pledge Kenya University Students Organization Chair Anthony Manyara is the guest of the night, and the biggest question that we ask: what difference do we see today in the university students and leadership back then comparison and of course currently, and what is set for the future in terms of the changes that are incorporated in matters of education right here in the country? And back to you. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you.
And we come straight to this question. Magoha comes in at a time when there are changes in matters of education, of course moving to that competence-based curriculum, and then before we even know it, while we're trying to incorporate it into the system, then comes COVID-19, and a lot of discrepancies being witnessed today. So much has been affected on matters of education. What would you rate the approach of Magoha in terms of dealing with all this?
Well, when you come to competency-based curriculum, as Kenya University Student Organization, we totally support it. We have supported it from the one go. Of course, we were not consulted, but after we saw the script, we saw it was a good idea. Students, you don't have really to go through education for white-collar jobs, and probably that is not what you are likely to, to pursue in future. So we have continuously supported competency-based curriculum. For Professor Magoha, what I can say is that his leadership came when there were very many challenges in the education sector. It came when, of course, we were seeing the transition from 844 system. We are trying now to change it to, I think it should be around 28. I'm not very sure.
2336 something, I think. And now COVID came, and then we almost forget 2633.
Yeah, but he's facing a lot of challenges generally because with the COVID-19, the school operations are not the same anymore. But we have proposed to him a number of things which, of course, are very beneficial to students. You realize that in our universities, students face a lot of challenges, and the dean of students in all universities, in various universities, individual universities, they don't really help very much because they are restricted by those various universities' educational policies. KUSO, we have proposed to have a Directorate of Student Affairs at the Ministry of Education, which can be dealing with the students directly. You realize that there are students who come up with innovations, who come up with great ideas, but when they propose to those universities, they water down those kind of things, and they can be used to help our country. Now, when we have that Directorate of Student Affairs, it will be handling very many issues, which, of course, pertain to students. Now, Professor Magoha, he has tried. What I can say, he has tried. He has tried. Although there are very many cartels, just like the Ministry of Health. There are cartels almost in every ministry. They try to water down, or rather to make things go slow. So with all those challenges, all that we can say is that, of course, he doesn't consult us that much, but we have been re-emphasizing that every time he is making major directives pertaining students, let him also consult us as Kenya University students.
Speaking of which, political interference has been witnessed in our universities. Evidently today, the school, the voting processes, the election processes in campuses are typically of the parties of the country. If we're talking Jubilee, it's Jubilee versus ODM, which is contrary to what has been for the longest of time, or which is contrary to what should be.
If I could remind you, ever since there was this Duale Bill came, of course, to water down the spirit that was associated with student leaders. Duale Bill came with, elections which are through college voting, as compared to what was there before, which was popular suffrage, whereby very many people vote for you directly. Right now, for a chairman to be voted in any university, you have to do voting in those colleges, and then the people who are voting for, they can come now to vote for the top leader. Now, that has a lot of disadvantages to democracy in the universities, and also how people hear their views. The student leader who is elected loses touch with the students uko chini. Now, that has been having a lot of course, problems in our universities. this is something we plan to address.
Okay.
To address. Personally, I've been elected using both procedures. I was there in Sonu. We campaigned from 2015. I was elected faculty rep in 2015. 2016, I was elected college governor. 2018, I was elected chairman, Kenya University, University of Nairobi Student Association. I was actually the inaugural chairman, the first ever chairman in that body. Yeah.
Okay, well, all right. And speaking of which, we also would love to see campus, universities and students who are actively involved in, championing change in the society. This is contrary, and also the kind of leadership that we project to national leadership, again, is questioning. What would you say could be informing this?
Yeah, I can agree with you. Just like the way I was telling you, I think that is the point that I missed, that there is a lot of change. Way before Ndwele Bill, students could come out very strongly, even opposing the government, doing a lot of things, championing for the rights of the oppressed, championing for the rights of the local Kenyan. But right now it doesn't happen like that. Why? Because of frustrations. Way before, if, for instance, you were a student leader and you led a protest, you led a strike, you led something which was controversial, then the opposition in government, they could come and support you. If, for instance, you are arrested in the process, they could come and bail you out, they could come and stand with you. You are fighting for maybe a just cause, something which is genuine, something which you are helping people. Now, today, the opposition and government, they are one thing. There is the handshake. So if students, you try to do something, you unapigwa kiboko, you retrieve. So I can see there are various challenges, which, of course, are not the same challenges which people were facing way before.
You're getting into, again, back into chairmanship at this time, post-COVID, at this time when we are talking about these discrepancies and these issues that are there. What are you planning to do to change that, to change the face of education in our universities today, even as at a time, you will come and you will exit the stage?
There's an idea I have. We haven't shared it yet because, of course, of patent rights and so forth. But what actually we want to do is, there's no need of representing students when you can't help them.
Okay.
You need to represent students and still look at the problems they are facing. You see how you can address them. If I represent these students, they cannot get internships, they cannot get attachments, they cannot get jobs. How are we going to address that?
Wait, hold it right there. This is a message that someone sent, and they say, what has happened, or what happened since we no longer produce professors in Kenya? Scientists are nowhere to be seen. Has the value of education go down? Or, so if you can talk about giving them internship, if you can talk about getting them jobs, they probably do not fit the market. Is it the case?
Yeah, I can say technology has really affected. There's a guy in the US. He was the Unabomber, if you remember. It's called Ted Kaczynski, but he's known as Unabomber. He has some ideas saying that technology is affecting our whole world. Right now, there's no reading culture in the university. You will not find students in our libraries. You find very few students, and if they are there, there is an exam tomorrow. If they are there, there are medical students. There are students who are doing very hard courses. Now, that is completely different from what was happening in 1980s, 1970s, 2 scores ago, something of the sort. I can say the reading culture is low. That is why we don't produce serious professors anymore. We don't produce academic experts, pundits, all those kind of people. Why? Because students don't take education very... And then again, also there is the issue of corruption. How would you feel, Alele, if every time you switch on your TV, you've seen people making millions, billions. Take, for instance, this COVID-19 millionaires. People were making a lot of money using public coffers. Now, that money is earned by people at the grassroots, right? It is meant to help people, health, and so forth. Now, the people who are beneficiaries of that money, by stealing, by embezzling those funds, they are Kenyans wengine si eti hata wamesoma. Now how will a student who is studying hard to do a course, a 4-year course, atasikia aje? Will you even go to the library when you are seeing there is a shortcut? You can't. So when you talk about, of course, our education standards, they have not changed, but the morale is low. There is technology advancement has really affected our many things. So we can attribute also that as to why, of course, there is that issue.
All right, somebody else asked, given the current state of affairs in the education sector, would you say that KOSU will remain relevant, seeing as most operations are now becoming virtual?
If KUSO still will continue being relevant, now everything is virtual. You know, KUSO is made up of leaders.
Yes.
It's not made up of puppets.
Right.
Of any. We are not under the Ministry of Education. We are not a government entity. We are an non-governmental organization. At the end of the day, when there is politics, we'll talk politics. When there is matters business, we'll talk business.
Right.
If, for instance, we see the issues affecting students are being championed in the wrong way, we will fight. You understand? So either way, there's no one who can say that sababu maybe things are virtual now, they will water down our spirit. No. We are on Facebook, we are on WhatsApp, we are on these social media platforms. So either way,
the
virtually, on physical, we will still be there.
Now that we have COVID-19, we've seen the ramifications of it. We've seen how much it has exposed the wanting education sector that we have right now. And the conversation then would be, moving forward, when we have our students back, we need to chart the way forward on how we can actively get virtual learning to work for our students and all these things. What are you doing as KOSU towards, equally preparing for the same? Because there's going to be a lot that will need to be transformed.
Me, I will be very honest with Kenyans. There are very many proposals we do. We do even to the Ministry of Education.
Yeah.
We do them to various ministries. But what happens? If those people see that these, I don't know whether some people in those offices, they don't like progress. We come up with very good initiatives to even help people post-COVID.
Yeah.
How will students adapt to the institutions immediately thereafter? Going forward, do we see another pandemic? How will we be prepared? So at the end of the day, we have come up with various proposals on how learning experience, even when it resumes, face-to-face experience,
Right.
we will be preparing on how, going forward, still lessons can be done virtually. We can even install exams to be even supervised, through CCTV and so forth. We are going to a technological era which operations won't be the same again. You can be able to control things virtually. Yeah.
All right, and young leadership is key.
Yes.
Everyone wants to see the leaders coming out of campus and, incorporated in leadership, especially the national leadership and everything. What are you doing towards strengthening young leadership, for that matter? And not just young leadership, but legit young leadership, because today it is unfortunate to, so to speak, you go to Parliament, you go to the Senate, you go to all houses or both houses, you see leaders that are from the campus. But it looks like the youths feel like they're not represented to the core.
Anela, what I can just say is, when I was chairman University of Nairobi in 2018, 2019, I had a team of leaders who are working under me. In 2019, the same I had officials. This year still I have officials. What do we do to nurture the skills, or rather the leadership in those young people? We have, even right now, we have partnered with KSG, Kenya School of Government.
Right.
We want to come up with a partnership between the University of Nairobi and KSG, which will be open and funded, will be actually supported by UNITAR, will be supported by United Nations. We want to equip even the officials that come, or other new leaders that come. We'll be equipping them with those leadership skills before they start serving. Now there is a transition. Most leaders who have worked under me, they are doing well. Some of them, when they go to any, parastatal company, they go there, they normally get, get to leadership positions. Why? Because of what you learned when you are a leader.
Right.
So I can say the transition basically is a personal initiative. You can be a leader, yes. Tomorrow then, afterwards, you can lose focus. You can do maybe something which is not in the public limelight. So transition is difficult for students. That is why you can see even the former SONU chairman. It's not all that you have seen. They are doing well. You just talk of Orengo, you talk of Babu, you talk of Kabando. there are not many. You can say maybe there are around 10 who are active in politics.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, transition is a personal initiative. Ni venye umejipanga, ukitoka, utatoka, utaenda wapi, na kivipi. Yeah.
Okay, we will delve deep into that, but right after you answer this one, the discrepancies, the differences that we witness today on our public university and private university, and even TVET, you know, all these technological and polytechnics that are on board. There's a lot of differences, there's a lot of discrepancies. There's that feel that, you know, some sectors or some sessions or some institutions are better than the others. What are you doing towards getting people to the same level of playing ground?
There is a proposal we did. That proposal, we were saying that universities need to be decreased. 74 universities, it's crazy. We should be having around 20 universities, 20 functional universities, or even 10. Those universities, they should be divided into fields. One should be dealing, like for instance, University of Nairobi is very strong when it comes to law, medicine, architecture, medicine, and also talk of KU, for instance. KU is very good with education. Talk of Egerton. Egerton is very good with agriculture. So if we had very few universities, and then the rest are TVET institutions, or even colleges of those bigger universities, we can have some, some sanity.
What if we have very many of them that are indeed legit, that are tangible enough, that are good, that of good quality?
Many universities?
Yeah.
I can imagine even the universities that we have right now.
They're still not.
They are producing half-baked people.
Yeah.
You get I don't want to mention those universities. You get a student who is in one of those universities, which I represent right now, and then you get a student coming from maybe JKUAT, KU, University of Nairobi, those universities who are the ones which have been there for a very long
ages,
time. If you put these two graduates here, you'll tell the difference, even in terms of dressing, in terms of how someone is composed, in terms of ideas. It doesn't even have how the person speaks. Give that person some work to do, then you will tell the difference.
And contrary also, so to speak, and I think we've had this so much, and you find that these universities that are considered to be legit or have been there for the longest of time, equally incorporating courses that they've not been holding for ages. For instance, you said in Kenyatta University, you'll find that very other numerous courses that are being incorporated. Film, for instance, which could be amongst the latest, Go to University of Nairobi, media studies, which could be amongst the latest to be incorporated. And you compare them with the students who are from, diploma classes from, institutions around. And you literally see that there's a huge difference in that there's so much material in this person who's come from these diploma classes in comparison to the one who's come from the university. So, again, it brings a lot of confusion.
Yes, I can say, take for instance the course that I take, architecture, has been the University of Nairobi for the longest, has been in Technical University of Kenya, has been also in JKUAT. But just recently, in 2018, I think 2018, Kenyatta University started the program. Now, before they catch up, still there will be graduates after that 1 year. Well, they get tutors, well, they get the resources to study, everything that, of course, is pertaining that course. You can also say you can really compare. So I am very much against the courses that are being brought within a very short time. We shouldn't be having those universities which have been there before to hold these very serious courses. If they are trying something new, let it be through technical institutions, let it be through polytechnics, let it be through colleges.
There's been unhealthy, wrangles and leadership wrangles in different, universities in the country. What do you say about this? What are you doing to streamline this? Because if the road starts from the point of leadership, then it will trickle down to the university, to the students. And what will it?
When you talk of wrangles, do you mean university leadership wrangles?
Not university, of course. Leadership wrangles at the level of the management, the vice chancellor. And yes, we normally have also the council. Every university has got a university council. We can have wrangles between even the council and the vice chancellor, or even the deputy vice chancellors. That happens all the time. But from the way things happen, we as KUSO, Kenya University Student Organization, all we do is, of course, propose the right thing, what we think is right. But we cannot decide because there is
there are various government institutions which deal with those matters when it comes to university management.
Okay, as we get to wind up, we have a minute or so.
Yeah.
And some lady called Anita says, I know he is in PNU and he will be running in Meru. Well, she wasn't actually particular. That's what we were talking about, senatorial position or what position. How can young people join parties and can be included in decision-making processes in the country and ensure that we have a center for youth and politics? As you speak about, yes, that bid.
Thank you. I think that's a very serious question. What I can say is that there is a plan I have. This plan, of course, is going hand in hand with whatever she has said. I'm forming a party. I think I will launch it to start from Meru. The party that I'm launching will be mostly for young people. You don't have to have 20,000 for registration of party to get a certificate. We will be doing it almost for free for young people. So that if you come from a very remote area, whereby the person who comes there to campaign always goes to Nairobi, looks for a lot of money, and then you have the ambition back there and people support you, and then he comes and, splashes money to everyone and then buys votes. We want to make that scenario not happen again. If you're a young man and you are, or rather a young woman, and you want to vie for any position, you don't have to, be brought backwards because of money. This party will be purely for young people. Yeah.
All right, Anthony Manyara, CUSO President, thank you so much for your time. We certainly look up to you to see lots of changes on the university sector, and equally all the best on your senatorial bid. That's where we get to wind up this session of Pledge Watch this evening. Thank you so much for always being part and parcel of the session. We look forward to see you again next week, same time, same place. My name is Linda Alela. Do enjoy the rest of your viewing. Abu Bakar is up next.